This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.
Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. Yes, you see it below. Derrick Rose returns. Not only that, but the Knicks are back in action tomorrow night. They take on the Miami Heat at home. We're going to talk about whether or not the New York Knicks can make a playoff push, ladies and gentlemen. I got my man Tony Crow here in the building with me. And we're going to go ahead and break this thing down. Tony, what's popping with you, bro? How you feeling?
What's good, Sim? Glad to have you back, man. We missed you from your hiatus. I know you was back the other night. I was at work, couldn't get on with you, but I'm glad to get on with you now.
Yeah,
Shout
man.
out to the chat.
I'm glad to be here. You know what I'm saying? It's been a while. It's been busy. You know what I'm saying? Coaching and all that kind of stuff, making up a lot of basketball games, playoff games, got a state tournament coming up and all of that. But we back in the building. Derrick Rose returns. He's returning after the All. Well, I don't know if he's going to play tomorrow night, but he's returned to practice. According to Tom Thibodeau, he's taking physical contact and all that kind of stuff. If he comes back and he does play, Tony, do you think he's going to be the starting point guard, or is Tom Thibodeau just going to rock with Alec Burks since Kemba Walker is no longer in the picture?
I think he's going to stay with Burks, keep Rose off the bench. I really feel like they had some type of agreement coming in to the season, or maybe even last season, that's going to be his role. I think maybe he doesn't want to start, but I think number one, I think all the fans want Rose to start, and then I think Thibodeau probably wants Rose to start too. He probably wants to play him starter minutes and all that. So, but to preserve his career, we got to let him keep rocking off the bench and make sure he's just closing.
Yeah, obviously Derrick Rose is probably, he's probably the Knicks' most clutch player. And if he was there, maybe the Knicks were able to pull out some of those wins that they lost. Maybe they don't even give up those 28 or 23 or 21, whatever point leads. You know what I mean? It's neither here nor there now because, it happened already. It already happened. So now it's all about, can the Knicks make that push, and can Derrick Rose be, I don't want to call him a savior, but, can he be vital on the floor, in the locker room, and the Knicks really making a playoff push? Because it's going to be a difficult task for the Knicks to make a push. You know what I mean?
And one more thing to add, coming off the surgery, we don't want to push him. We don't want to overwork him. So, if he plays 6 minutes or 8 minutes in the first 3 quarters, and then could play 4 or 5 minute stretch down at the end of the game, I'm good with that. Coming, while he's getting his legs back and his wind back and things of that nature. So yeah, just keep in mind he's coming off the surgery and the recovery. Don't want to over exert him.
Right. I know. Tom Thibodeau was talking about Derrick Rose and he's been in practice the last 2 days, but obviously his body's got to get used to getting contact, all of that kind of good stuff. But Derrick Rose is a vet. I think he knows he's had to come back from injury so many times. I think he knows exactly what to do. You know what I mean? Yeah, the guy's been coming back from injury since his first couple years in the league. So I think he understands his body and knows, how much he can take coming back. You know what I mean?
Great point.
I think it obviously it poses a lot of questions about the rotation, though. Right? Because if Derrick Rose, he comes back, and then let's say still Alec Burks goes into that starting lineup, right? So if you got Alec Burks in the starting lineup, off the bench, you're talking about Derrick Rose, Emmanuel Quickly, Quentin Grimes. You know that's going to be that trio, that guard trio, most likely. And then you got Obi Toppin, Nerlens Noel, Taj Gibson, whoever it is. Still, Cam Reddish, there's not room for Cam Reddish. You know what I mean? Does anything happen, in your opinion, that makes room for Cam Reddish to play? Emmanuel Quickly getting less time. You know what I mean? Listen, Tom Thibodeau is in love with Quentin Grimes. He's not putting that guy on to be situational. He's staying in the rotation. There's no doubts about it as far as I'm concerned. Quentin Grimes is staying in the rotation. So what happened? What's going on? What's up with Cam Reddish? Now, tomorrow night against Miami, I think it's possible that either Derrick Rose or RJ Barrett's not playing tomorrow night. It's possible. So Cam Reddish might still be able to get some burn out there on the floor. But sooner or later, both those guys are going to be back in the lineup. Cam Reddish is probably going to be iced out.
I think what's going to happen, it's going to be a 3-man rotation between those guys based off of if you're performing. So I think all 3 of those guys will get kind of like a short leash. And then, if they not hitting or having some lapses somewhere, an opportunity will arise for Cam. If Cam performs, whoever slid out might have to sit until he's not performing. But I think it's going to be between the 3 of them, Grimes, Quickly, and Cam. But Cam's probably going to be obviously the odd man out initially. I mean, but it's tough because you think about Quickly's been on such a shooting slump for probably the longest stretch that we've seen.
Mm-hmm.
And Thibodeau continued to rock with him, gave him 2 opportunities in back-to-back games to hit a game winner or a game tying shot, tying 3. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that tells me, Tibbs loves Quickly too. You know what I mean? Like
he does.
He rocked with him throughout this shooting slump,
right?
And continuously gave him opportunities. So
right.
It's gonna be tough. Cam is gonna have to really show something in practice first, and then whenever he gets an opportunity, take advantage.
Right. To me, Cam in that second unit, whether it be Emmanuel Quickly, Derrick Rose, whoever's running the point guard spot, I guess you would say, having Cam in the second unit, it makes the lineup, it makes it longer. Because when you got Derrick Rose, Quentin Grimes, and Emmanuel Quickly, they're kind of small, right? 6'4", 6'4", 6'5". And Emmanuel Quickly is maybe even 6'3". You know what I'm saying? When you got Cam in that lineup, it changes it dramatically. You're talking about 6'4", 6'5", 6'8", and then Obi 6'8", and then whoever your center is 6'10".
Or 6'11".
Or 6'11", or whatever it is. You know what I mean? So I just think it really does change that lineup a lot when you got Cam in there, for the better, in my opinion. I think it probably helps defensively when he's in there because of his length. And then, do I want to say he provides more than Emmanuel Quickly? He probably provides the same thing, I think, as far as production. Let's say production.
You saying
Cam Reddish.
Okay.
Cam Reddish probably provides the same thing as far as production is concerned as Emmanuel Quickly when you talk about point output.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And maybe he can give you a little bit more on the rebounding side than Emmanuel Quickly can. And I'm not trying to diss Quickly, but I haven't been happy with the way that he's been playing, in his role. So I wouldn't be opposed to him, taking a couple minutes in a situational role, or sitting a couple games in a situational role.
I've been saying it for about a month now that Grimes is making quickly expendable to the point where, I think his defense is better, even though, or quickly's got better at defense, but I don't think it's near Grimes level. And then he just doesn't take bad shots. Grimes, you know what I mean? Like, he can miss 6 in a row, and all 6 of them, you're not gonna be mad at. You're not gonna wave your arms or nothing, because they're good shots that either uncontested or off of rotation. You know what I mean? Quickly, even though it's his MO, when he misses certain shots, it looks horrible. You know what I mean? Like, the only thing that saves it is when it goes in. And we know that's his MO. He takes, maybe some difficult shots or unwise shots, but that's what he does. But when you have a guy next to you that does the opposite and can potentially give you the same production and probably a little bit more on defense, it becomes tough. And then even with Grimes at the 3, I think that's an unfair advantage for him. As good as his defense is, he's great at switching and maybe picking up a 3 on a switch here and there. But to make him full-time, guarding, now granted, it's second unit, but full-time guarding longer guys, taller guys, that's going to make it more difficult for him. You know what I mean? So I'd much rather have him guarding 2s, and then if he got a switch, he can do it, than guarding 3s, basically every possession. So to your credit, I think Cam is better and in the unit, in the second unit, or just at the 3 because of his length. He's a different type of defender. He's more of a guy who goes for steals and that, but he's not a bad on ball either. So I like Cam. I hope he gets an opportunity. The messed up thing is we in a position where we can't even play around and try to figure things out. You know what I mean? So
right.
He might be he might not get a turn. I don't know. It's
right. That's the thing right there. That's the thing right there. The Knicks can't play. You know what I'm saying? Tom Thibodeau can't experiment. It's whatever he feels is the best is what he's got to throw out there. I guess that brings us to the question, though. Right? That is the title of the show. Can the Knicks make a playoff push? And for a lot of people out there, I think the bigger question is not a playoff push, a play-in push. A play-in push. And for a lot of the people that's out there, I think the question is, should they even try?
Yeah.
Should they just wave the white flag on the season?
Hey, my thing is this: 6 more losses, you could wave the white flag. But until we got 6 more losses, until we got 42 losses, you know what I mean? And we can't reach 500. I say you try to win. Don't don't experiment. Kids gotta wait, whatever it is, you know what I mean? Like, but after that, yeah, we could rest Randall, we could rest all the vets and just give these guys some experience. But at this point, these aren't meaningless games yet.
I mean, they're definitely not yet. Right now, the Knicks are 9 games below 500. They're 3.5 games out from the play-in position. But, when you look at that play-in position, even though the Knicks are 3.5 games out, the separation between the teams is a lot. The Hawks are 28-31, and the Knicks are 25-34, right? Now, obviously, a team like the Hawks can go on a losing streak and quickly be 9 games below 500 as well, but they're playing better than the Knicks. I mean, I don't know. The Knicks are playing okay. They're not closing out games, right? I mean, they've played well enough to have leads and, against some really good teams over the past 2 weeks, but they haven't been able to close those teams out, right? You know, I mean, you're talking about, a 20-something point lead over the Los Angeles Lakers. I mean, they're not really a great team, but a 20-something point lead over the Lakers. They lost the game. Right? A 12-point lead over the Utah Jazz. Twice they lost the game. 20-something point lead over the Portland Trailblazers. They lost the game. 28-point lead over the Nets. They lost the game. You know what I'm saying? So they've been playing well enough to get these leads, but also bad enough to lose the leads. And then ultimately not being able to perform in the clutch and lose the game. You know what I'm saying? It's a crazy enigma for the team, to play well enough to get a 28-point lead, but then play bad enough to lose the lead. It's crazy. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. Can they? Yeah. To me, it's a big separation. Even though it's in the standings, they're 3.5 games back from the Atlanta Hawks. There's still a big separation in the games, in my opinion. The Knicks 9 games below 500 versus 3 games below 500 for the Atlanta Hawks. In your mind, do you think the Knicks can make a push to get into that play-in game?
It doesn't feel like it. You know what I mean? Like if I had to make a bet one way or another, I would probably bet that they're not. I mean, I definitely betting that they're not, and that's just based off of what we've seen so far this whole season. I think it's a lot to put on Rose's shoulders to say, he's back now. We could, you know what I mean? Even though I feel like it's been understated how important Rose's absence has been for us, because now everyone is, quickly is playing point guard out of position, out of his strengths. Burks is playing point guard out of position, out of his strengths. Like, they're both capable, but that's not their strengths. You know what I mean? It's almost like a sacrifice, and it's taken away from what they do best to do something that they're okay at. So if I had to stand on it, I'm gonna honestly say no. But obviously, of course, I'm hoping they do. I wish they, you know what I mean? They got to go 18 and whatever, and 18 and 5.
I mean, I guess the question is this. Do you think that to make that 10th spot, will the team need to be above 500 to be in that 10th spot? Or even a 9th spot?
I mean, they could possibly be under 500 and still make the play-in, and if so, great. But I'm hoping for at least 500. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I want. But
that's
I mean, or that's the way I'm thinking. Like,
right,
to be like maybe an 8th seed or like going into the play-in. But
I mean, they've played 59 games, right? So you're talking, what's that? 23 games left, right? And in order for them to go, I mean, first of all, in order for them to get to 500, they've got to at least win 9 games without losing one. So they got to go 9-0, let's just say, right? That brings them to 34-34, right? And then to stay at 500 after that, 34-34, 68. So you got, 14 games left, right? So then you got to go 7-7 just to be 500 on the season, to be 41-41. You know what I mean? So you're talking about, you got to go, what was that, 16-7 over the last 23 games in order for the Knicks to go 500, 16-7. It's not entirely impossible to go 16-7. It's not like that's, like top of the world great. You know what I mean?
They would need to run like last year.
They would need a nice run. They would definitely need a nice run. You know what I mean? To at least get to 500. It's not impossible, but it's a tough task when you look at their record. I mean, when you look at their record and you look at their schedule coming up, it's a tough task. You know what I mean? Because the schedule coming up, I mean, just this week alone, starting tomorrow, they play the Miami Heat. You know what I mean? The Miami Heat, that's the best team. Oh, no, number 2 in the conference. Right now, they're a half game behind Chicago. The Chicago Bulls are 39-21. The Miami Heat are 38-21. Right, but you know the Miami Heat. I mean, one, they just got the Knicks number, and then 2, they're just a really good team. You know what I mean? A very well-rounded and complete basketball team that can play great defense. They can score the basketball. It's going to be tough for the Knicks to deal with the Miami Heat.
Yeah, I think, and especially if, like you said, one of those 2 don't play, but I think they both play. I think they kind of give it their all right now, you know what I mean, and see how the next week go or whatever before they start making changes. But I think they got it. I can't see RJ unless they physically not ready,
right?
And you know what I mean. Like I can't see them sitting one more game,
right? I mean, not in this situation,
not
right?
this one.
You know, and I know the team, they're going a game at a time, right? They were talking to RJ and they were like, you know, what is your focus coming into the second half of the season or after the All-Star break, not really the second half. All he said was the Miami Heat. You know what I mean? Tom Thibodeau, we got to take this one game at a time. They had a general team meeting to talk about, I guess, you know, what's going on and what they need to work on and what they need to fix in this last part of the season. And he said, hey, you know, we're not going to look too far ahead. We're just going to go one game at a time. That's all you really can do. You know what I mean? It's just focus on one game at a time. But, of course, as fans, we can look ahead. And I'm sure players look ahead, too. Like, they know who they got coming up. You know what I mean? So you got Miami, then Philadelphia, Phoenix. This 4-game stretch right here, you know, let me ask you this. If the Knicks lose all 4 of those games, is that when you say, all right, that's it? I mean, a lot of people are saying, all right, that's it right now. But if the Knicks lose all 4 of those, they'll be 13 games below 500.
I'd say it depends on the fashion, to be honest. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if it's blowing 20-point leads, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Or if it's just getting blown out by 20, then probably so. Like, if it's no fight, no effort, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, if there's fight and effort and you get outmatched and, you know, it's clearly like, hey, they're just a better team, hey, you tip your hat. But if it looks bad, if it looks like there's no effort, it looks like there's no fight, if, you know what I mean? Like, no camaraderie, yeah.
Right. I mean, you know, when you look at, see, to me, I feel like if the Knicks lose these 4, they'll be 13 games below 500. I don't know if they can catch it. I mean, right now, I think it's still, they're within an earshot. They might be improbable, you know what I'm saying? But they're within an earshot. 13 games below, I don't know if they can catch it.
It's too much of a, I mean, they have no momentum, but it's too much of a momentum killer. Yeah. You know what I mean? They need to beat a Miami, get some momentum. You know what I mean? Like, and then go into Philly like, yo, we beat them twice already. Have some energy. You know what I mean? Like, and then try to gain momentum. If they lose 3 more in a row off the break after the meeting, you know what I mean? Like,
I mean, they, you know, in order for them to stay kind of someone there in it, they gotta win 2. They gotta go 2-2 over this stretch. Phoenix is without Chris Paul, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But Philadelphia got James Harden now.
I mean, we could go 7-7 and then have a 9-0.
I mean, we could. You know what I mean? I would rather them start. I would rather them start. You know, win 2, lose 1, win 2, lose 1. I'd rather them start doing that now, so you don't got to go 9-0. You know what I mean? Because I ain't relying on that 9-0. I heard Tom Thibodeau in an interview a couple of days ago, whatever, And he was like, we didn't play well last year until the end of the season. I'm like, but you can't rely on that every year. You know what I'm saying? You can't rely back on that. You got to focus on, you got to try to win them basketball games. Now, but I don't know. It's a tough second half. Actually, it's not as tough as it looked before. These first 4 games after the All-Star break are tough. They can pull off, maybe they can. I mean, Phoenix is in Phoenix. You know what I'm saying? They're going to be a different team without Chris Paul. Maybe they can pull that off. Maybe they can steal one from Philadelphia or maybe even the Miami game. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? They can beat the Clippers. Sacramento, they're a revamped team. We'll see what that looks like.
And in a play-in/playoff push.
Yep, trying to make a push. Dallas, that's a different team without Kristaps Porzingis. That's a different team. They're away at Memphis, then at Brooklyn. Who knows what they look like. Portland, I think they can beat Portland. You know what I'm saying? They blew that lead last time, but I still think they can beat them. The Washington Wizards, now they got Kristaps Porzingis. We'll see what that looks like. Utah at home, Atlanta at home. I don't like the matchup versus Charlotte. They never play well against Charlotte. Miami, Detroit, Chicago, Charlotte again, Cleveland, Orlando. There's some winnable games there. Can they pull out 16 of them? I don't know. It's gonna be it's gonna be a difficult stretch for them to, try to get in there. You know what I mean? And not only are you looking at the schedule that the Knicks got to go against, but you got other teams that are competing for the play-in who are already above the Knicks. Right? We can start with, let's start with the Washington Wizards. We were just talking about the Wizards. They picked up Kristaps Porzingis. They're 27-31. They're only 4 games below 500. They got a guy who's been a proven closer in Bradley Beal. Now they picked up Kristaps Porzingis. Who knows how that's going to look for the Washington Wizards. They played tonight, I believe. Right? I thought they played tonight. Maybe they didn't.
Yeah, I've been working.
Let me see. I'm trying to look on the schedule. I'm looking at the schedule right now to see if they played tonight. Let me see. Cleveland and Detroit, Boston and Brooklyn, Atlanta and Chicago, Memphis and Minnesota, Phoenix and Oklahoma, Golden State and Portland, Denver and Sacramento. No, they didn't play tonight. All right, so they'll start play again tomorrow. Detroit actually beat Cleveland 106-103. The Celtics beat the Nets 129-106. The Bulls beat the Hawks 112-108. The Timberwolves beat the Memphis Grizzlies 119-114. And the Phoenix Suns, without Chris Paul, beat the Oklahoma City Thunder 124-104. And right now, Golden State is leading Portland 62-47. And the Denver Nuggets are leading the Sacramento Kings 63-58. Right, so we'll see what the Washington Wizards look like. What's your thoughts on the Wizards with KP? How that's going to look?
I think it's a better fit. I think it probably was a good move if they're trying to entice Bill to stay. And it's also a good insurance policy if he leaves. You know what I mean? So I think he'll play better there than he did in Dallas.
Right. I guess it's a fresh start for him. You know what I'm saying? But how many fresh starts is he gonna get? Well, I guess he only had one fresh start in Dallas. You know what I mean? And that didn't go the way that he thought it was gonna go. You know what I mean? He had trouble there, and it's starting to look like he didn't have a lot of trouble there, but clearly there was something going on. That's why they were willing to move him. You know what I mean? And at what point does all the fingers start pointing at KP to say, what's up?
Well, honestly, I think at this point, it's like a humbling moment for him. So I think that might be the best thing for him to have been humbled and maybe refocus his career. Like not saying he had like I don't know what issues they had in Dallas, but you kind of forced your way out, right? You kind of went where you wanted to go. So he's going there with high expectations,
Right.
Thinking he's, I mean, I shouldn't say thinking, but relatively cool with Doncic. You know what I mean? Maybe following Doncic's lead, and that might not have been the right move. Instead of being just a piece of the team, instead of acting like I'm the 1-2 punch guy.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so I think now I don't think he's gonna go into the Wizards saying I'm the guy. It's my team. You know what I mean? Like, or I'm the second guy. I think he's just gonna play basketball and
Right.
kind of become whoever he becomes.
Right.
If that
And
makes
you know
sense.
what? Bradley Beal is out for the remainder of the season. I forgot about that. Just seen someone put it in the chat. He's out with a he had a wrist surgery,
Mm-hmm.
so he's out for the remainder of the season. I don't know if KP is enough. You know what I mean? I don't think he's enough. So they probably continue to slip in the standings. I think we'll see.
I think so too.
But I think they probably continue to slip. So maybe the Knicks can jump over the Washington Wizards, but then let's say they do jump over the Wizards, then you got the Atlanta Hawks, right? They're 4-6 in the last 10, but hey, the Knicks are 2-8 in the last 10. You know what I mean?
We should be 5-5 at least.
That's true. That's true. That's true. That's true. But I don't know. I think the Hawks get to 500. I think they probably get to 500. And if they do, that means the Knicks got to get to 500.
You know
And
what's
that's the
even more
task.
troubling, Sim? Like, a lot of those teams got the tiebreaker. So
Yep.
we can't even tie with them. We got to leapfrog them.
Right. So we have the tiebreaker over Atlanta. We don't have the tiebreaker over
Charlotte.
Okay. We're not catching Toronto, I don't think. Toronto's 32-25. They're in the 7th seed. I don't think we're catching Toronto. We'll see what happens with Brooklyn. Brooklyn right now is 31-29. If they get healthy and get some guys back, I don't see us catching Brooklyn if they get healthy. So we're hoping that Charlotte continues to fall. They're 1-9 in the last 10. They've lost 3 in a row. So they are definitely falling. Are they going to fall far enough? That's the question.
Yeah, they got to fall below us.
Yeah, they got to fall below us. And, so they got to continue to lose some games, and we got to continue to win some games. And then when we do match up against each other, we don't match up well against Charlotte. That's a bad matchup. We lose those games every time. Whenever we go up against Charlotte, it's a bad matchup. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be tough. Yeah, I think what we're looking at is for Charlotte and Atlanta, hoping that Charlotte, Atlanta, and Washington. Can those teams fall? One of those teams fall and the Knicks rise. That's going to be the difficult task too. So the Knicks got some obstacles in front of them. You know what I mean? They got some obstacles, man. It's going to be a difficult go at it, but I guess they're going to be up for the fight. You know what I'm saying? Big shout out to Blackness. He said, if we played the Kings 23 times, we might get 16-7. Maybe. I don't know. He said, we watch these Knicks every day. They don't look like a competitive team. Last year, we thought left hand Julius was Superman. He got humbled. Blackness, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. And, you're right. They don't look, they look competitive. I don't want to say that they don't look competitive because they've been competing. They haven't been able to pull them out. You got to be competitive to build a 28-point lead, a 21-point lead, a 20 whatever point lead. But you also got to be messing up to lose those leads. You know what I'm saying? So they've been competitive, but they haven't been able to win. You know what I mean? But you're right. We see them every day, and we know that they have a hard time pulling out wins. So I guess it's just kind of like, can they flip the switch this second half? Can they turn it on? I don't know. That's the hard part. Can they turn it on? You know what I mean?
The crazy thing is, it's the scoring. It's the scoring drought. You know what I mean? Because we've lost games. I forgot which game it was, but I think it was either OKC or Portland. I think it was OKC, where they didn't score for 4 minutes straight. But neither did we. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's these scoring droughts, like, especially if you up 28, up 21, up 20, whatever. For them to come back, that means you're not matching point for point at the very least. You know what I mean? Like, so these scoring droughts is what's killing us.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that.
And turnovers.
So I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. The Knicks got a tough task. They got a tough task coming up. This was just a short show. I'm trying to get back in rhythm, so I wanted to jump on tonight so I can just get back in rhythm. Isaiah texted me last night. He was like, hey, you going to jump on, to talk about this Kemba thing? I sent him a picture of a basketball game. I'm like, bro, I'm at a basketball game. Can't jump on and talk about Kemba right now. You know what I mean? But I wanted to. And I thought about getting on late last night. But on my way back from the game, I think I saw you and Steph had already been on. And I was like, I don't want to repeat the information. I was like, I'll try to jump on tonight. I'm definitely doing the game preview tomorrow and the post-game show. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to jump in and do a little shoot-around on Saturday. And then on Sunday, for those who are members, make sure you pay attention and check out the posts in the community section, because I'm going to post a link where you can, just chill and watch the game. I think Andy's going to be on. We're going to be able to watch the game together in the StreamYard, talk about the game, and then we'll jump in and do a post-game show afterwards. So that's going to be pretty dope. You know what I mean? So, just look forward to that if you're a member of the show. If you're a member of the channel. I said look forward to that. It's going to be pretty dope. But yeah, man, that's all. I just wanted to jump in, talk about whether or not the Knicks can make it into that play-in, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know. It's going to be a tough task. It's going to be a real tough task. But Tony, I appreciate your time. You know what I mean? Everybody that jumped on, I appreciate your time. I will see you tomorrow about 3:30 for the shoot-around. All right? Tomorrow, 3:30, jump in, do the shoot-around. Get back to our regularly scheduled programming, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate it. Get some rest. Be easy.
This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim pass the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.